Have you ever wanted something so badly as a child, but your parents just couldn't afford it? Sometimes we don't understand the sacrifices they make for us until many, many years later. This is the story of a boy and the shoes his mother could never buy. When Daniel was 8 years old, he had only one dream. He wanted a pair of new running shoes. Every day at school, he watched his classmates in their bright, expensive sneakers. They seemed to run faster during sports, they laughed louder, and they played with a confidence that Daniel could only dream of. But he always stood quietly in the corner because his shoes were old, torn, and almost falling apart. At home, Daniel lived with his mother, Maria, in a small rented apartment. Maria was a single mom who worked 2 jobs just to make ends meet. In the morning, she cleaned offices, and at night, she washed dishes at a small restaurant. Even after working all day, she always came home with a warm smile just for Daniel. One evening, Daniel finally gathered the courage to ask her, "Mom, can I get new running shoes for school?" Maria paused for a moment. She looked down at Daniel's worn-out shoes, and her heart broke instantly. But she forced a gentle smile and said, "Of course, sweetheart. We'll get them soon." Daniel's face lit up with pure happiness. But Maria knew the truth. They barely had enough money to pay the rent and buy groceries. Buying new shoes was simply impossible. That night, after Daniel fell asleep, Maria sat at the kitchen table, quietly counting the few dollars she had. It wasn't enough. Tears slowly rolled down her cheeks as she whispered to herself, "I'm sorry, my son." Days turned into a week. Every morning, Daniel would ask excitedly, "Mom, are we going to buy the shoes today?" And every time, Maria would gently reply, "Soon, Daniel, very soon." But inside, her heart felt heavier with each passing day. Then one afternoon, something unexpected happened. Daniel came home from school earlier than usual, and Maria noticed he was limping slightly. "Daniel, what happened?" she asked, her voice filled with concern. He hesitated for a moment before answering, "My shoe broke during gym class." Maria looked down. The sole of his shoe was almost completely torn off. Her heart didn't just break, it shattered. The next morning, Maria made a difficult decision. Before heading to work, she walked to a nearby pawn shop. In her hand was the only valuable thing she owned, her wedding ring. It was the ring she had kept since Daniel's father passed away years ago, a piece of her past she cherished. The shop owner examined it carefully. "I can give you $50 for it." Maria nodded silently, her heart aching. She sold the ring. With the money in her pocket, she walked straight to a small shoe store. She searched through every shelf until she found them a pair of simple blue running shoes. They weren't the most expensive ones, but they were sturdy, they were new, and they were perfect for Daniel. That evening, when Daniel returned home, Maria had a box waiting for him on the table. "Daniel, I have something for you." He slowly opened the box, his eyes growing wide with disbelief. "Mom, are these for me?" Maria smiled, her eyes glistening. "Yes, sweetheart." Daniel threw his arms around her, hugging her as tightly as he could. "Thank you, Mom. These are the best shoes ever." Maria hugged him back, hiding the tears that were now streaming down her face. For Daniel, those shoes meant everything. He wore them every single day. He ran faster on the playground. He played harder in gym class. And for the first time in a long time, he felt confident. He finally felt like he belonged. Years passed. Daniel grew older, studied hard, and eventually became a successful businessman. He provided a comfortable life for his mother, making sure she never had to work another day in her life. One day, while cleaning out some old boxes from his childhood home, he found something tucked away in an old drawer. It was a small, faded receipt from a pawn shop. Attached to it was a note in Maria's familiar handwriting. It said, "I'll buy my ring back someday." But my son needed shoes more. Daniel felt his chest tighten, and his hands began to shake. He finally understood. He realized the incredible sacrifice his mother had made all those years ago. She had sold the most precious thing she owned, just to buy him a $50 pair of shoes. He sat there silently, tears streaming down his face, the weight of her love hitting him all at once. The very next day, Daniel went to the most expensive jewelry store in the city. He bought a beautiful, sparkling diamond ring, far more grand than the one she had lost. Then, he drove straight to his mother's house. When Maria opened the door, Daniel got down on one knee right there on the porch. "Mom, this is for you." Maria looked utterly confused. "Daniel, what is this?" Daniel gently placed the ring in her hand. "This is for every sacrifice you made for me, especially the shoes." Maria's eyes filled with tears as she looked at the beautiful ring, but Daniel wasn't finished. He then brought out a small, carefully preserved box. Inside were the old blue running shoes he had kept all these years. "They remind me every day of how much you loved me," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Maria pulled him into a tight hug, and in that moment, both of them understood something profound. Love is not measured by money. It's measured by sacrifice. Sometimes the biggest sacrifices our parents make are the ones we never see. If your parents have ever sacrificed something for you, big or small, maybe today is a good day to tell them thank you. Thanks for watching.